Good evening, everyone. Your first forecast is brought to you by Store It at Home Rent-to-Own Portable Buildings. We had a few showers move through the area, and we could have a little bit more rain for tonight and also into tomorrow. We have a stalled out cold front that is still draped across our area, keeping our weather just a little bit unsettled, and we're going to see the wet weather and this tropical air remain for a few more days. In fact, we're still tracking a possible tropical depression that is in the Yucatan right now. We'll have more details on that in just a little bit. But here's a look at your forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures starting off around 72 degrees, cloudy conditions through the day, and that will keep those temperatures below normal. 79 by your lunch hour, and there could be a few showers and thunderstorms by the afternoon. We are going to see the possibility for more rain as we head toward the end of the week. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit.
Welcome to ABC 31 News Tonight. I'm Scott Beadle. Alexandria Chief of Police Jared King joined the Rotary Club today for their weekly meeting. The chief, who is an Army veteran, reflected on the September 11th terror attack on this 17th anniversary and gave an update on the work of the police department.
This day, I remember very clearly, as a lot of Americans do, as the world does, how I felt that day to watch our country under attack. That was a moment that changed our country forever. And it still is changing our country, it still affects our country. So I think it's very important, it's extremely important that we remember the attacks of 9/11, because that was a direct attack on our way of life as the United States. I'm also going to talk about where we're going as a police department, or where we're at and where we're going as a police department, and just law enforcement in general, the job that police officers have to do on a day-in, day-out basis in this country, in this city. And we're just going to talk about those things and some interesting facts that maybe people don't know about the police department and some things we're trying to change.
Chief King joined the U.S. Army upon graduating high school and served as a military police officer and military police investigator for 6.5 years. He began his career with the Alexandria Police Department in 1996 after receiving an honorable discharge from the Army and has worked in almost every division in the department. Alexandria Police are asking for your help in IDing the person in this video. They say he is a person of interest in a burglary investigation. Now, police aren't giving out other details at this time, but they do ask that you do call them if you can help identify him. Rapides deputies have arrested a Pineville man for throwing a rock into the glass door of a convenience store at Donahue Ferry and Edgewood to steal cigarettes. 23-year-old Andrew Corley is charged with criminal damage and burglary. Deputies say surveillance footage led them to the suspect. They arrested him at his home on Louise Street. Pineville City Council will be asked tonight to approve elections to expand the sale of alcohol there. Currently, it's permitted to be sold by the drink in restaurants, but this would approve packaged liquor sales in drugstores and groceries. The election is proposed for December 8th. NSU and LSUA are announcing increases in fall enrollment. NSU has a record enrollment for the second straight year with 11,081 students. Enrollment has increased for 5 consecutive years and is up by 4.8% from last fall. LSUA has around 3,165 students, an increase of about 3.75% from last fall. The school is boasting its largest ever freshman class with 464 students. The Food Bank of Central Louisiana and the Rapides Parish Coliseum have partnered for a new event called Cenla Band-Aid.
They've invited local bands and musicians to come play. It's pretty much an all-day concert at the Coliseum. Each band will play about an hour, and it's very minimal cost to get in. It's $10 a ticket or $5 and 5 canned goods.
Okay.
So all the canned goods will obviously come to the food bank. The music, the doors will start at 11:30 on Saturday, September 29th.
Right.
The music starts at noon. And I think the last band ends around 11 o'clock. So like I said, it's an all-day event. If there's certain bands you want to listen to, you can come and go. You can come in once, you'll get an armband. So if you can't stay all day, certainly we'd love for people to come listen to these local musicians, play in our own backyard. But we're excited. September is Hunger Action Month. This is a new event taking place during that time.
Cenla Band-Aid will take place at the Rapides Parish Coliseum on Saturday, September 29th. Doors open at 11:30 a.m. You can visit Ticketmaster.com to get tickets prior to the events. The U.S. Attorney says a settlement is reached with a St. Landry Parish Head Start administrator over use of federal grants. David Joseph says 2 competing early childhood programs were operating in the parish because the original council built a $1.2 million building without proper approval. He says the settlement means the original council has agreed to offset its interest in the Head Start properties to the newer program in exchange for the debt owed for the unapproved funds. An Avoyelles Parish woman is preparing to compete in a professional bodybuilding competition. ABC 31's Shar Thomas shows us how destiny can come full circle.
One dream deferred can lead to your destiny. That was the case for 23-year-old Olivia Chenevere of Ploucheville.
She was home on the weekends with her family, barrel racing, and when all that came to a halt, she was like, where do I put my passion now?
Olivia shared a love for riding horses, but that dream would soon come to an end, leaving her to find a new love. After her horses were no longer in good shape to ride, Olivia found herself in the gym training on a daily basis.
I'd have to say the most amazing part of all of this was being able to just build that physique that I've always dreamed of having. And when I train, that's why I enjoy training so much. I'm in there to build. I have that vision of what I want my body to look like, and I was able to do that and build the physique I've always dreamed of having.
Not realizing she would soon become a bodybuilding pro athlete in the matter of 3 years. For someone who has never been an athlete, Olivia surpassed all expectations when she became a IFBB figure professional, which is hard to do, but she says there's one key to it all.
Let's say consistency is key with everything.
Next March, she will take that same attitude to the Tampa Pro, where she will make her professional debut. In Ploucheville, Shar Thomas, ABC 31 News.
A local Rotary Club member recently celebrated her 100th birthday, and today her fellow Rotarians recognize that milestone. Sarah Simmons is known for her involvement in a number of outreach projects over the years, and, of course, for being the founder of the Apple Pie Brigade, a group that gives pies and cold drinks to soldiers before deploying overseas. She's also known for breaking a state record at the age of 98, becoming the oldest skydiver in the state of Louisiana. Simmons is considered something of a hometown hero in the Cenla area, so if you see her around, be sure to wish her a happy 100th birthday and many more to come. A Louisiana film drama premieres on Hulu this week. It's called The First and is a series about the first manned space mission to Mars. The 8-episode launch is on Friday. It was filmed in New Orleans. Louisiana soybean farmers are nearly halfway through their harvest, and results have been encouraging. Yields have been good, and the quality of the beans is much better than last year's crop. LSU Ag Center correspondent Craig Gautreaux has the story.
Farmers across Louisiana are busy harvesting the state's soybean crop while keeping a watchful eye on the remnants of Tropical Storm Gordon. The crop has been a good one so far, both in terms of yield and quality.
I've been talking with a lot of growers who are averaging as much as 70 and 75 bushels to the acre across the farm. And the biggest thing this year against last year is our quality has been really good so far.
Spivey says this past winter's severe cold helped the crop by reducing the population of the red-banded stink bug, the state's #1 insect pest of soybeans.
I believe that's part of what's led to our increased quality that we've had so far this year. That the increased stink bug pressures in 2017 that we faced really reduced our quality, and that's something that we haven't had to fight this year.
Spivey said soybeans were planted in 3 different stages across the state because of the weather, and beans are in various stages of development. He says the late planted beans are most at risk.
Planting late is going to extend that season for us, and it's going to extend that potential for tropical system issues to come later in the year.
Most of the late planted beans are a result of dry conditions that forced farmers to delay planting until moisture levels were sufficient.
We do sacrifice a little yield there, but it's better to lose a little yield by planting late rather than having to replant a couple times from planting into completely dry soils.
Farmers are expected to harvest nearly 1.4 million acres of soybeans this year. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gautreaux reporting.
Soybeans are a significant contributor to Louisiana's economy and had a total economic value of nearly $800 million last year. Up next, remembering 9/11. We take you to ceremonies held at the sites where nearly 3,000 people were killed in terror attacks 17 years ago. And bracing for impact, the mad rush to leave the coast as Hurricane Florence churns closer. ABC 31 News will be back after this.
To you, it's just an old coat, but to an underprivileged child, it's a warmer winter. Please help us collect coats for kids before the cold months get here. You can drop off new or gently used coats at a location near you. All coats are cleaned and distributed right here in your community. The KLAX Coats for Kids Drive is sponsored by First Federal Bank, Southern Heritage Bank, Bank of Montgomery, Kramer Funeral Home, LSU Alexandria, Heart of Louisiana Credit Union, and South Park Cleaners.
"17 years ago today, the country was rocked by the deadliest terror attacks on American soil. September 11th took the lives of nearly 3,000 people and continues to shape American policy and security. ABC's Maggie Ruley has the story.
A moment of silence felt across the nation. Marking the moment 17 years ago at 8:46 in the morning when the first tower was attacked on September 11th.
Patrick Michael Araños.
David Gregory Arche.
The names of every person killed that day read out loud. Nearly 3,000 people lost and remembered.
Rosa Maria Chapa.
Another 184 names are read at the Pentagon, where just after sunrise, a flag is unfurled down the side of the building, covering the exact spot where a plane hit that day. In Shanksville, the President and First Lady were there to honor the 40 passengers and crew members of Flight 93 who sacrificed their lives to bring down the hijacked plane.
Today, all of America wraps up and joins together. We close our arms to help you shoulder your pain and to carry your great, great sorrow.
As the reading of the names continues in New York, taking hours to get through the number of lives stolen nearly 2 decades ago. Maggie Ruley, ABC News, New York.
Now the latest on that monster storm churning toward the East Coast. Hurricane Florence could cause catastrophic damage and flooding, and massive evacuations are already underway. ABC's Emily Rao has more from North Carolina, where the governor is warning people not to stay there to ride out that storm.
The frenzy before Florence. Millions of people along the East Coast bracing for what could be the worst storm to hit the Carolinas since the 1950s.
We are in a very deadly and important game of chess with Hurricane Florence.
Today, officials trying to send the message Florence is not like previous storms.
Even if you've ridden out storms before, this one is different. Don't bet your life on riding out a monster.
In South Carolina, traffic still flowing, but officials there reversing the highway direction to ease the mass expected evacuations.
It's just a headache, you know, because if you leave, then it's hard to get back.
In Virginia, even the Navy racing against the clock to prepare, moving more than 100 planes and helicopters out of harm's way. And now, Category 4 Florence expected to re-strengthen overnight with devastating winds of 150 miles per hour. Florence now forecast to make landfall in the early hours of Friday morning.
I hope it don't come again.
An unwelcome guest slamming into the East Coast.
Just bring tears to your eyes to think that you're going to have to relive all this all over again.
And even after Hurricane Florence makes landfall, forecasters predict it will sit over the coast, dumping up to 30 inches of rain, setting the stage for devastating flooding and damage. Today, President Trump said government agencies are absolutely and totally prepared. Emily Rao, ABC News, Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina.
100 emergency personnel from Louisiana are deploying to assist with Hurricane Florence. They're with the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. They include a swiftwater rescue team from the State Fire Marshal's Office and other teams to aid in response and recovery. Of course, that is a big storm going to impact a lot of people.
Yeah, especially just people on the East Coast. Hopefully, though, it's not going to impact our weather, but we do have a tropical system that could make its way into our area by the latter part of this week. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but here's a look at your numbers. 82 are high today, and it was cool, and that's because of the rain that fell across the region. We did pick up so far 400ths of an inch of rain. We could pick up a little bit more, not only for tonight, but into tomorrow. We'll have that, all the details coming up.
This fall, the balls are back.
That was so unfair!
With all the bumps.
Are you ready to rock?
Bounces.
That did not look good.
And wacky wipeouts.
This looks really bad.
Where everyday people go daredevil crazy.
Oh my God, she made it!
In outrageous battles for big bucks.
That did not feel good.
Wipeout Weekends, coming this fall.
Saturdays on KLAX TV.
Welcome back, everyone. We had a few showers move in and out of our area, so it was a dreary day. We're going to stick with the cloud cover for tomorrow. Temperatures will be a tad warmer, and we do have the possibility of occasional showers. We are keeping an eye on a tropical disturbance that's in the Yucatan right now. It is expected to move into the Gulf and then strengthen a little bit, and then as it makes its way toward the Gulf Coast, it could turn into a tropical depression. So it could affect our weather by early Thursday, bringing the possibility of showers and thunderstorms. It looks like that's the biggest threat right now, but it also could bring some gusty winds as well. We'll continue to track that, but we are going to see some sunshine return later in the weekend into the weekend, so it won't be dreary all week long. But of course, a lot of people are talking about Florence, which is a Category 4 hurricane, and it continues to move to the northwest. It is a massive system and is moving very slowly. It is moving over warm waters, which is sustaining it, and it is expected to make landfall somewhere in the Carolinas. Still a lot of uncertainty, but it is expected to bring significant rainfall amounts and also gusty winds, and we are expecting some just very just catastrophic possibly events for the next few days. But as we make our way into the latter part of this week, we're concerned about another disturbance that is starting to take shape. It is strengthening right now. It's in the Yucatan. You can see the clouds from it. It will continue to move to the northwest into possibly somewhere along the Gulf Coast, maybe Texas and Louisiana. I think that's where we're expecting the impacts to be. We are expecting gusty winds from this and some heavy rain early on Thursday. But of course, if it makes its way a little bit more to the west, we're going to see very minimal impacts from the system. So we're going to continue to track it in the next few days. What is affecting our weather right now is a cold front that is stalled across the area. Notice numerous showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, and we're going to see more tonight into tomorrow, unfortunately, because this cold front really won't move all that much. So we do have chances of rain throughout the state. I think the best chances of rain will come in the afternoon with a few thunderstorms that could develop because of the heat. But overall, though, we are expecting showers for tonight that will continue off and on for your tonight and into early tomorrow. Maybe even tapering off a little bit by your noon hour, but then picking up again in the afternoon. And then we are going to see some effects of it, or effects of what could be a tropical depression by later on on Wednesday night into Thursday. So we are expecting more chances of rain for the next few days. High temperatures today, 82 degrees, cloudy, and it was cooler than normal. 73 degrees is our dew point, so it's very muggy out there. Temperatures tonight drop down to around 71 degrees, showers continuing, and we're going to see the possibility of more rain tomorrow with the high around 86 degrees. We warm up into the 90s by the end of the week. More sunshine this weekend with highs around 93 on Sunday. Scott?
All right, thank you, Kim. Can Tai Chi protect older adults from accidental falls? Researchers think so. With more, here's Emily Rao.
The risk of accidental falls is a major problem for adults over 70. A new study suggests the key to fall prevention may be an ancient Chinese form of martial arts. Researchers conducted a study of 670 adults ages 70 years and older who had at least one prior fall. Each adult was randomly assigned to one of 3 different exercise groups: stretching, strength and agility, and Tai Chi Quan, a modified version of Tai Chi. After 6 months, the adults who routinely did Tai Chi fell on average 30 to 60% fewer times than any other group. They were also stronger and had better cognitive function. Accidental falls account for more than $50 billion in medical costs annually, and what's more, they increase the risk for additional injuries and even death. According to this research, Tai Chi may just be the low-cost, high-reward option to preventing falls among seniors.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.